Well, what if I told you that Pyeongchang Olympics were not actually as successful as everyone thought it to be?
Why is that so?
Well, that is exactly what we're going to explain to our audience today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Intae Hwang.
I'm Nohyun Park.
We are sophomores majoring in sports, industry, and management. It's been almost half a year since the closing of the Pyeongchang Olympics, and now that all the dust has settled, we figured that this would be the perfect time to discuss the Pyeongchang Olympics. We will review certain errors in the Pyeongchang Olympics and suggest what can be learned so that we may hold the better sports events in the future. Our presentation is divided into 3 parts, each observing Pyeongchang Olympics from different aspects, that being economical, environmental, and social. Nohyun, would you like to start explaining about our first aspect, the economical aspect?
Thank you, Intae. Yes, I would like to start by talking about our first point, the economical aspect of the Pyeongchang Olympics. As some of you may have realized, Olympics are a rather pricey endeavor, and that is why it is so important to hold an economically sustainable event. However, flawed financial plans have left multi-million-dollar stadiums abandoned. Left deserted and unattended for months, facilities like East, which is the ice skating stadium from the Pyeongchang Olympics, are left as the local authorities and governments fight over who to get. Moving on to the next point, what would be the solution for these problems?
Well, I've got a great example from London. There are to prevent this from happening, we must have a specific plan in advance. London accepted West Ham United and UK Athletics to be the tenants of the London Stadium, and they turned Athletes Village into the new housing facilities. On top of that, they opened the aquatic center into public swimming pool, providing London citizens a chance to use the venue ever after. These kinds of plans would greatly avoid the loss of money due to the white elephant, the term used for the abandoned stadium. Nohyun, would you like to move on to our next aspect, the environmental aspect?
Of course. Secondly, I'd like to talk about the environmental aspect of the Pyeongchang Olympics. I'm sure that a lot of you here enjoys athletes racing down blank white ski slopes, and we love the thrill. But what if I told you that thrill came with a price? A 500-year forest in Pyeongchang was destroyed to build that exact ski slope, only to be used for 5 days. Due to continuous local protests, the authorities have stated that they will try their best to regenerate the forest. However, quite literally, the damage is already done. Intae, what do you have in mind for problems like these?
Well, Nohyun, solutions are not that far away. For this issue, we must repurpose the already existing facilities. Green Creating Attic suggests that instead of cutting down all the trees to build a new ski course, Pyeongchang Olympic Committee could have used the already existing one. And also, one thing that Pyeongchang did well was that the leftover chairs from the Pyeongchang Olympics were reused to build the stadium of Bucheon FC, the Korean football team. These kinds of environmental strategies must take place more often. Nohyun, would you like to explain our last aspect, the social aspect?
Oh, I love to, Intae. I got a really good one for you this time.
Okay.
Moving on to the social aspect of the Pyeongchang Olympics. I assume that a lot of you sitting here have enjoyed the Olympics to some point. But now, let me ask you a question. Has anyone of you seen the Paralympics? Well, I assume that not a lot of you here have actually seen it. And I'm here to tell you that it isn't necessarily your fault. The graph on my right represents the amount of time allocated to the broadcasting of the Pyeongchang Olympics for a number of broadcasting stations around the world. What's quite important here is that KBS, SBS, and MBC, 3 major Korean broadcasting stations, have devoted considerably lesser time to Paralympics compared to other nations. It is quite baffling that TV channels from other nations are giving our Paralympics more attention than we do. What do you think solutions for these kind of problems could be?
Not to worry about, Nohyun. For this issue, we have 2 possible approaches. First is to implement legal system of compulsory broadcasting. If the law charges channels for not broadcasting the Paralympics, they would definitely put it on air. Second possible approach is to reinforce the promotion of the Paralympics. There are no sponsors that made commercial about the Paralympics except one, and that is KEB Hana Bank, as shown in the example. This would greatly raise awareness on the concept of equality and generate initiated participation of people in these kinds of events. Now that is end of our 3 points.
Through our presentation, we have reviewed the economical, environmental, and social aspects of the Pyeongchang Olympics. And with each point, we provided insight on what can be learned from it and be changed. Ladies and gentlemen, we do understand that for the vast majority of the public, Olympics are just a one-time event. But as students who study the ideas of sports industry, we expect just a little more from it. Only if we open our eyes and try to see can we accept the faults and learn from the mistakes made in Pyeongchang Olympics. What we've learned will function as a guideline so that in the future we may hold the perfect international sports event. Here are some of the references we worked on, and this was Nohyun and Hwang, and we would like to express our deepest gratitude for sharing your time with us. Thank you.